Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today is the day that I finally am getting down to doing my 2020 vision board. Now I did shoot a video about my 2019 vision board and how so many of the things on there actually manifested, which I was just amazed and so excited, pleased about that. I felt like I needed to make a video about it. I don't care how late it is if I didn't make a video about it in October 2019 like everybody else did, but for me it was an important part in my journey, and that's a really big part of this YouTube channel. So this is when I'm making a vision board. I think if I made it earlier I probably wouldn't have as much to give to it because I was at a very different place in December. And so yes, January for me has been a beautiful month of investment and just really setting my intentions and putting them down properly, and also getting into the habit and the groove that will set the tone for the rest of my year. So I definitely was not about to be deterred by the fact that it is nearing the end of January to do my vision board, you know, because I had been journaling normally and doing a gratitude journal as well. These things were maybe not physically printed out, but they were definitely things that I was meditating over and praying about and had on my heart. And so now I'm just basically going to make a vision board about it. But, I think it was really important to go through this entire process of reflecting in January and really getting things down and getting some clarity, and then doing your vision board in the right headspace. Board, which is one of the golden rules of making a vision board, which I'll get to in just a few. So of course I was so completely encouraged upon doing my reflection to see that the 2019 vision board had in fact largely manifested. And as I said, you know, some of the things did not manifest, but it's one of my rules of vision boarding that I really believe in, which is kind of mixing longer term with shorter term goals. And I must be honest, before last year, I'm not sure that I set a sort of concrete vision board. I know I have constantly throughout primary school and high school been putting up things on my wall that I want to see, that I want to be reminded of, whether it's words or pictures. And so subconsciously I think I've kind of been vision boarding to a degree, to a measure, but I wasn't like, I didn't call it a vision board. I wasn't super intentional about it. And I think even last year when I was like, let me create a vision board, just because I had just resigned from my job. If you haven't watched, there's a whole vlog about that for you, so make sure you see that as well after this video. And I think vision boards are really beautiful when you are entering a season into your life, and it makes sense to then do it at the beginning of the year, but it is such a beautiful way to cast a vision, a hope, a sort of, you know, plan, a map, a picture of what you want your life to look like. It's important because if you go through life without actually intentionally going for something, then what is the point? And I'm going to get into specifics of how to vision board the right way. And I think last year's one was kind of a very mild vision board. I've definitely taken it up quite a notch, so you better make sure that you watch the rest of this video. If you're excited about it, please give it a like and share this with a friend. And also, of course, do not forget to subscribe. I've got so much content for you guys constantly, and I actually cannot keep up with my content. So that's how much I have to give you. And this channel is all about encouragement, and I have got plenty of it for you. So if you already like what you're hearing, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified every time that I post a video for you. And so as I said, because I actually made the effort to create a vision board and make a proper one, you know, even though it was mild, it was quick, I really didn't spend a lot of time in it. I did not go beyond getting some basic magazine cutouts and, you know, putting words here and there. And as I mentioned in this video, I also put some scriptures down that I had had for a while that I like to keep around me, that I've also kept around me during the time that I was busy doing my postgrad in industrial engineering, and then eventually passed with distinction, which I share in this video of how I did it. But part of it was in having these things around me and having them in a place where I could see them. So getting into this topic of, before I start with my vision board, is why should you vision board in the first place? Why is vision boarding important? And I asked a couple of you on Instagram as well, like, are you interested in vision boarding? Is it something that you do? Is it something that you believe in? And most of you said yes, but it was only about 70-something%. The rest of you were like, you know, you haven't really tried it before, you don't really think that it works or whatever. But I found it so beautiful that some people actually hadn't tried it before. And I think for me, as I described in the video of 2019's vision board, I've actually been a powerful manifester without knowing it, because I kind of get fixated on a goal and then focus on it and work towards it until it becomes mine, until it becomes my reality. And only later, obviously, only like in my final year of high school, did I read the book called The Secret. And although I have some reservations because of my own faith, you know, with some of the aspects of The Secret, I do really believe that what you focus on, you attract. And, you know, in all the studies of the brain that I've done, because of the kind of nature and work that I do in my consulting business and in my training that I've done, you know, entrepreneurship, I find, is the most beautiful self-development exercise. And this is something I have always said. And when I got into entrepreneurship, I couldn't help but start getting into the brain. And although we are constantly analyzing the outer world, there's an inner world that is actually dictating, that is sort of the source and the powerhouse of it all. And there's something in there that made me feel like I really needed to explore last year, and which is one of the things that I kind of like put on hold. I kind of put on hold, you know, working and going crazy in my business, which I described in this video. I call it one of my entrepreneurial setbacks or mistakes, because it took me away from my business, but I feel it was a unique opportunity to be enriched in a space that I really wanted to know more about, and in fact wanted to be an expert in, because this is something so important. I've been to a global MIT Innovation and Entrepreneurship Bootcamp in Australia, and this is not always something that they teach you or they talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship. Yes, there are, you know, they tend to, you know, a lot of entrepreneurship programs and courses tend to focus on the idea and making the business better, and not so much focus on the person, which is the one that has to execute everything. And if you're not okay, your business is not okay. If you're not working, your business isn't working or progressing. And so you need to be at the best possible place to show up in the best possible state you can, to be able to serve your customers and clients in your business. And so I started looking into these things that make certain people really successful and others not so much. And I was like, but we were given the same brain, the same mind, the same things are inside of us, and what differentiates people. And there are a couple of videos, I can link them down below, on the power of visualization, you know, the kind of millionaires and billionaire habits that they get into every day. And one of the important things that I discovered when I just started my entrepreneurial journey is visualization. And 2019's vision board was actually made on the 3rd of April, and I started, if you remember from my video, I started my entrepreneurship journey on the 1st of April. And so visualization is something that is an incredibly powerful tool. Why? Because, in short, from all the research and experience and work that I have done working with other entrepreneurs, working with people who train entrepreneurs, as I was doing last year, is that our subconscious mind is the most powerful messenger that dictates our lives. So we are constantly telling ourselves stories. We're constantly telling ourselves stories about our experiences, about how we see things, and our brain, our, you know, this thing called the lizard brain, the amygdala, it doesn't fight with us. Our subconscious mind is amazing because it is sort of underwriting the story of our lives and the messages that we feed ourselves into our experiences. And guess what? It doesn't argue with us. Whatever we tell it and feed it and imprint in it is what it takes as the program that keeps on running over and over and over again. And so one of the most amazing, powerful tools that we can do for free that is available to everyone right now, and that is one of the biggest secrets, if you want to call it that, that I found out, is that visualization is powerful. And if you think about it, before you act on something, before you do anything, you have to have the thought in your mind, and very often you have the picture in your mind of what that is going to look like. And sometimes when you attach emotion and feeling to that thought becomes even more powerful, because guess what? Our brains do not know the difference between what we have experienced and what we haven't. If we have a thought that has a picture, a sort of mental movie that is mixed with the feeling associated with that thought. So what's amazing about our brains is that we can feed it the messages that we really want, and that comes with what we allow into our space, into our energy, what we surround ourselves with. And I didn't really understand this or know this, but I have actually been doing this all along. And what I said in my video about passing my postgrad in industrial engineering with distinction after like almost flunking my first degree in civil engineering is that I would imagine myself on stage without even really thinking too much about it. I would just imagine myself on stage being called Corey Shukrani, passed with distinction, was what kept me going. And then I would work with the intention and the hope that this is going to be the end result. This is the picture that I'm seeing in my mind, and this is what is going to happen, and this is why I'm doing what is in front of me right now. So forgive me if I look down on my notes. By the way, I made quite a bit of notes in terms of like what I've put together and what I have read or researched in other resources regarding vision boarding and visualization, which is basically that kingdom of happiness is in our thoughts and in our minds. And we are highly, highly creative beings. In fact, I believe we were created to create. And you know, our creator gave us the same powers to create and to create our reality as well, and that we can call things into existence when it's mixed with real faith and real feeling. I wrote here that whatever we plant in our subconscious minds and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a real thing. You know, that the Bible says the word is flesh. The word can become flesh. And so the beautiful thing about a vision board is that it has the pictures there really nicely for you in one. And I do believe in setting one vision board and not kind of separating them for, you know, weight loss, professional, personal life. I do feel like there is only one you, and it is good to have it in one place that you can be all of these things at the same time. And so I think it's incredibly powerful to have a vision board, because now you kind of have the pictures that you want to imprint on your mind in front of you in a place that is visible and that is incredibly, incredibly powerful. I remember when I was studying, I would constantly look and meditate on the scriptures that, you know, I felt were talking to my studies whenever I would do devotion, and I would revisit them and meditate on them. And that was absolutely, I realized, what I was feeding my subconscious mind, that, you know, I don't need to worry about the intricacies and the how. I just need to continue working, but working in faith and with the intention that I am, and with the intention that this is going to be the end result. And so, by the way, since it apparently takes only 12 days to break your New Year's resolutions, congratulations, we have passed the 12th of January, and now you can forget about your resolutions, because I really don't believe in them. I don't think they work. No point in just jotting down a couple of things, putting them away and wishing them to be true. Now we can actually set intentions. Speaking of intentions, I'm gonna get a little bit more into how to set proper goals for yourself in a way that actually works and helps you achieve them a little bit later while we're doing the vision board. But now that we've gotten into why you should do a vision board, I hope you're encouraged and excited for the rest of the video, and I'm going to share with you some of the things you need for a vision board, and then we will get straight into it. So let's get straight into the things that you need in order to make your vision board. So the first thing is obviously your board. You've seen this one before. This is my one from last year that I've now taken down some things, and some things I have kept. I've kind of already started, I won't lie, but these things are actually old from last year's vision board that I want to keep this year. The other thing is that you need Google. You need some images, things that you are going to paste onto your vision board. And now, as I said, last year I used some magazine cutouts. And that is actually really limiting. You know, my friend actually mentioned on Instagram that she only had House and Leisure magazines lying around, and so her vision board looked very much like, she wanted to be on holiday the whole time, and she just loved, houses, and that's all that she dreamt about. And if you're actually serious about making a vision board and, actually manifesting the things that you want, I think you can go through a little bit of effort to get onto Google. I even went onto my Instagram and kind of edited and kind of cropped out some of the pictures on Instagram. Some of these things were like sayings, like these things, like visualize your higher self and start showing up as her, because I just love that saying and it rings so true, and I've been doing it since I was a child with fashion, dreaming of the woman I wanted to be and kind of buying clothes ahead of that time. And I find that this is definitely something really important for manifestation. Think about the person that you want to be and start stepping into that in a way like prophetically. And so it's definitely worth putting a little bit more effort into looking for these pictures and actually printing them out really nicely, because you're going to be looking at this thing for a whole year. So it's worth the investment, guys. Next thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors to cut all of those things out. So because of the nature of my vision board, I am going to need some pins. But I've also obviously seen quite a few people who print out a huge, big, cardboard, whatever size. I already had this one, so that's why I'm like, let me just make use of it again. But then you can obviously use glue, sellotape, whatever you want to hold your stuff together. I like this because one of the things about my vision board that I like to do is I like to switch things around. Maybe I add things, add, subtract, whatever, change things around, and it's usually add, not subtract. But, it allows me the flexibility to move things around as I feel I want to or need to. Sometimes when I switch things up, also it brings my attention back to looking for that thing, and I kind of like then start looking more at the vision board and being more conscious about it, because you want to be intentionally looking at it. So what else do you need? I would say get a good beverage that will get you going. I love my I'm not lucky, I'm blessed mug that I created. It just keeps the good vibes flowing. You can put on some music if you'd like, and of course you need the right mindset, which is something I hinted at earlier. You really want to be in a good, positive mood when you're putting your vision board together, because that's the energy you're putting into this thing. And so rubbish in, rubbish out, right? So you want to be in a good, positive mood while you're preparing to put this in together, because that is what you are going to be investing and pouring into, not just the vision board, but also, putting this whole thing together. So without further ado, now that we have all of our images, our scissors, our pens, our board, so now you can enjoy the music, enjoy your coffee, and start making your vision board. Okay, so guys, this is how far I am so far. And I'm a little bit worried that I'm not going to finish this video. I don't have much daylight left, but I want to basically show you the gist of how I'm going about it and then explain a little bit things, some tips and tricks into making a vision board the right way so that you can actually yield results and manifest these intentions to become reality. So I'm going to quickly go through some of the things. I mean, the way that I kind of did my vision board, on the right hand side I have my healthy sort of quality of life things. So I've kept, here's to a happy healthy you, which was from my old vision board. I have my dream body from some of my favorite Instagrammers. I also have, some pictures of kind of like what I would want our dream house to look like, our dream family home. I mean, we have an amazing, beautiful apartment which we are fortunate enough to own, and that is an incredible blessing and testimony on its own. But I think when we have kids, I'm not saying this is happening in 2020, but when we have kids, I think I would definitely like to have a bit more space and a bit of a bigger home, because I think kids definitely can get quite messy, and so you want to have enough space to when you have children. I also have some of my ambitions for growing my business, my social media accounts, for just growing basically my reach and my offering to people so that I can be of more value and share and reach a lot more people. On this side, I have my house things, I have my ambitions for my social media accounts, and also where I want my businesses to go. Obviously, my business's reach has a lot to do with social media these days, so naturally I want to be able to increase my reach, to be in front of more people, to share the value that I know, which I know is value, to share the value that I have to deliver. So in order to do that, I need to reach more people. And then on the side here, I have kind of like my ambitions of things that I'm going to be going for and wanting for, like basically end results. Some of these are material, and some of these are money as well. But, something worth noting on that with regards to material things is that, yes, they are material things, but I really see them as a symbol. I see them as an end result. And it's not just that I want this thing, it's basically that this is the end result of an entire process and cycle of actually, delivering something of value, getting compensated for it or getting paid for that value that you deliver, in whatever shape, way or form, in consulting, in courses, in training, in whatever, deliver that in resources that you are giving that are of value to your clients and your customers, and then you are able to afford these things. These things are definitely, most certainly, luxuries, and so you basically need to pass a couple of levels of like, okay, I've gotten this much revenue from my business and I have that amount as well on here for myself. This is the amount that I would like to generate per month from my businesses. And I'm going to be working with that intention. I'm going to be working with that goal in mind and that aim to be able to afford these things that also, quite frankly, help me do my work better. So yes, there are material things, like a new computer, like a new phone. I have my dream car here, which is a Mini Cooper, but to be honest, I've been driving my car since I was a student. I've been driving my car for more than 10 years, and my husband and I tend to drive our cars for a really long time. So for me, this is a symbol of like an upgrade in many ways, but it's something that I want to be able to do for myself. And so it's a lot more layered and loaded than just saying, oh, I want, a Mini Cooper. It's kind of like, in order to get this thing, I need to make enough money to cover my expenses and then take the money off the top of that to contribute to my Mini Cooper, and that needs to be enough to be able to afford it. So it's kind of more like that. And so I also have my hair goals down here, obviously, because, as I said, I've started my own hair care line, Atara Hair Care. which specializes in oils that are specially for hair growth, and it's something I've been using on myself. And so part of that is also proving that these things work, that my hair can grow longer and longer. And I've never reached mid-back length. It's about bra strap length right now, and reaching mid-back length is constantly just adding to the story of what Atara is based on, which is proving them wrong, proving that it can be done, proving that our hair does grow, and that good hair is not a texture but a condition, and everyone can have it, and just encouraging people through that. So all these things kind of feed into it, and of course constantly, like, you know, things that I feel are working, that are a part of my purpose, not just, you know, a career, but a calling, because a calling is so much better and so much higher. It's God ordained than just having a career. So I'm going to be continuing with this. You actually need quite a bit of time. My coffee is kind of cold by now. I have been really getting into this, but you need quite a bit of time for this, and so take your time. I should have said that earlier. But really importantly, guys, is that it's nice to have a beautiful vision board, and by all means put it somewhere where you can see it, where you are constantly feeding your mind with images that you want to be imprinted on your mind. And now you might notice the light changing a little bit. There's a beautiful sunset coming outside, which I'm going to enjoy with my husband in a bit. But basically, you want to put this vision board in a place where you can see it, where you are constantly imprinting your mind with the visions of your future that you want to be able to manifest. What I like to do is I like to mix up, you know, sort of pictures of some of the things that have already manifested. Like I said, some of the things are from my previous board. A lot of the things that I keep on putting every year is obviously the Word of God and Bible verses for me that just ring true. I shared some of that in this previous video about vision boarding, but some of these things are just everlasting, and so they're always true year after year, and I love to keep that with me. And it also reminds me of how that was fulfilled, and kind of mixing it in with things that still need to happen while still keeping things that I'm kind of grateful for. For me, that, like, you know, as I said, your brain doesn't know the difference between things that have happened or haven't happened, but that you have visualized with that feeling and that faith. And so I kind of like to mix it that way, because it reminds me, and I feel like it's all part of my reality anyway. I'm calling this into my reality and focusing on it so that it can be mine and working for it. So that brings me to my next, last, most important point, is that none of this will work unless you do. I'm sorry to break it to you. I left this for last, but it is so important that you actually work for what you're going to do. There is no point in just putting this up and letting it go. So none of this will work unless you do. There is no point in just basically putting this up and forgetting about it and continuing with your life and not really intentionally focusing on them, but also without working, because as the Bible says, faith without works is dead. And even now you've injected them with your energy and your positivity and you intentionality, and now basically you need to work. You need to work to make these things happen, but now you know your why. Now you know what you're working for. Kind of like, you know, people who put pictures of their children and their family closest to them around their table when they're at work, is basically like to remind them of their why, remind them of what they spend the most valuable hours of their day doing, and who they're working for, and who they're working to, you know, bring a better life to. So that is something that is so important, and it's a big part of this vision board. And so that when you work hard, you are working with intention and you are working with faith that all of this is going to work out. You obviously want to be more specific, you know, write down your goals. I would say when you have these goals, rather be specific. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. You need to have SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time bound. So when you say, I want to I just want money. Money's not a goal. You need to make it more specific. How much money? How much money do you need to generate per month? And focus on that number, because that number is part of what you are looking to attract and bring into your reality. So if you want to lose weight, you need to say how much weight you want to lose. Maybe give it a time by which you want to lose that amount of weight, so that you know when you're working that this is the goal, this is the thing, this is the mental movie that you're playing in your head in order to make that happen. So I really hope this helped, guys. I hope this encouraged. Remember, you've got to work. Faith without works is dead. It is so important that we know we still have to make our own dreams happen. And it's not your job to think about everything, all the details, but you just need to know that you are putting that energy into the work that is going to yield this beautiful end result that is going to be your life that you are on your way to manifesting. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that this helped and this encouraged. If you did enjoy it, obviously please make sure you give it a like to help me out, and also share this with a friend. Maybe you guys should vision board together and use these guidelines that I have used. But I hope that this helped and this encouraged. Do give it a like, share, comment, and comment down below on, are you going to do a vision board? Have you done one before? I'd love to hear from you what things most resonated with you in these points. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe. As I said, I've got so much content for you guys. Can't wait to share it with you. I hope that you like this video and that you will stay tuned for more. Until next time, bye.